And welcome everyone back to the channel. I am Zach, your host here on the Yo Bro Nation YouTube channel, and I am doing my final new Supernatural, not a review, but a discussion. I'm doing a series retrospective. No, I'm not going to dive into the series real deep or anything like that. Just my overall opinions and everything. Just going back and thinking about it, so on and so forth. Just what my general feelings of the series as a whole, which I did kind of get into that a little bit last week. But I'll definitely dive in a lot more today. Firstly, I want to thank everyone who went and watched my review of the series finale. That ended up being a lot harder than I anticipated it would be. I did. I had a much harder time with that than I had thought I was going to. Man, this show. 15 seasons. I started watching this back in season 4 is when I first picked it up. My ex-wife, she was really big into the show, and she finally convinced me to watch it. And I just remember, I was so against it. Like, from the beginning, I was just, no, I'm not going to do this. No, never, never, never. And she was just like, come on, you should watch it. So, I finally, after, from the first, me and her got together, I think around the same time as the first season. So, I was really just against it pretty much from the start. If I'm just being honest, I don't know why I was so against it. But I don't know if it was a rerun or not, but it was just right before my second deployment happened, right after my daughter was born. But I was watching It's a Terrible Life. That was the first episode where Sam and Dean are working in that building, that business. Dean was some big boss in there, and Sam had to work the phones, poor guy. And that was the first episode, and it was a good one for an introduction. Not knowing anything that was going on, it was easy to get into and get to know the characters. Be like, wait, they're brothers? And she was like, yeah, they're brothers. It's like, oh, okay. But I remember watching it and actually enjoying it. And then I deployed, and I found the other seasons on discs at what they were calling a Haji shop, is what we called it over there. And it was like the entire first 4 seasons were on this disc. So I went through and I burned through all 4 seasons up to that point. And then I bought the entirety of season 4 on actual DVD, and went back, after I went back home for my summer break and everything, or my 2 weeks leave. Came back, bought that, watched it, loved the show. I just absolutely loved it, and I have been hooked pretty much since that point. The thing with this show, and I know a lot of people mention this and talk about this, and I do believe it's true for a lot of people. Some in much, much worse situations than I've been in. But there were points in time where this show literally helped me get through things. When my divorce, well, not when my divorce first happened, but when me and my ex-wife first split up, I was home by myself. I'd just come back from a deployment not long before that, And I just found myself laying in bed watching this on my little DVD player, and it was all that I had that to keep me sane. And there's been other times where I've had really rough patches and I've just sat and I've watched this show and always looked forward to the next season, It was much needed during rough times. And, I hear that a lot from a lot of different people who have watched this show at some point or another. Just how, how it really carried them through. Some people wanting, who would commit suicide if it wasn't for this show. People who were sick, cancer, whatever the case may have been. This show helped give them the strength. Them seeing these characters gave them strength to keep on with, doing what they do. And I find it amazing that a show could really do that for people. And how just last year, I was having a rough time and I reached out on one of the fan groups on Facebook, and the outpouring of love that these fans will give you, they really go with, the credos, family doesn't end with blood. That's just how they are. And it amazes me that people are like that. So the impact that this show has had in so many different ways, I just find it to be amazing. Like, I was able to bond with my sister over this show and my mom over this show. Things, we all would watch together. And sadly, we didn't get to watch the finale with each other, and that's okay. It's okay that that's the case. We can talk over Thanksgiving dinner, about the show. And I think that's kind of important too, so. But I don't know. You just look back on it and everything that's happened. And now, I've, especially in the last week or so with everything going on with my dad, it's been, I really just want to sit back and watch this show again. But now it's like looking at it through a new lens, because I know it's not, where will it lead to the next season? How will this affect things later? Now it's, this is the end. I know where the road goes. When you see Sam leaving school now, you're going to be, no, he's going to have a normal life. As normal as he's going to get. He's going to have kids and everything. Dean was right. Dean's going to die a bloody death. Well, it wasn't really bloody, but Dean's going out the way he always thought he did. And as poetic as it may seem to some people, it's kind of hard to know how it actually ends. That, they fought God, they fought the devil, they beat all these high beings, but a rusty nail takes out Dean, and old age takes out Sam. It's very anticlimactic in that sense, but I don't know. The show was so influential for me. It helped me find a little piece of myself, honestly. Gave me an idea of who I really wanted to be in life, and I do feel like it gave me very positive, positive influence and everything. Some seasons, obviously, of this show were better than others. The first 5 seasons are like the most revered. Honestly, though, for me, season 4, out of those first 5 was the weakest. And that's just me. I know there's a lot of people who loved season 4. I found that season to just be the weakest. And a lot of that, to me, I think had to do with the fact that, Sam and Dean having all their issues, like, why are these guys lying to each other now? Like, and then it ended up becoming kind of a trope throughout the series, which really sucks, because these guys should not be doing that to each other. They should be honest. But no, Sam's like, I can't tell Dean the truth because Dean doesn't like this person, so I'm gonna lie. I don't know. So for me, yeah, that was probably the weakest of the seasons. It did introduce a lot of what we have in the lore now, which, of course, Andrew Dabbid retconned a lot of that either way, but yeah, 4, just the weakest. So, a lot of people are going to be talking about what was your favorite season? What season did you not like? And it's like, oh, well, good question. I gotta take a drink. I'm talking a lot. I would say the worst season, in my opinion, definitely season 12 was the worst season of all of them for me. 15, if I'm being honest, has come real close to that benchmark for me. 15 was a rough season to get into, but I would say 11 was the worst season for me. My favorite season out of every season, oh gosh, that is and has always been season 3. Okay, well, 3's a close to the top. I should take that back. I don't know why I said 3. No, my favorite season was 2 and has always been 2. There was something special to me about season 2. Just, I don't know what it was. Just something about it. Like, I think that's when the show hit its best stride. And then, 3 came in, and 3 was really good. 4 to me was kind of a bit of a downer. And then 5 was like, bam, like, not their best season. It was probably the 3rd best season out of the first 5. But it was so good. I'm also a fan of season 7. I know a lot of people hate that season. I loved season 7. I really did. Minus Bobby's death, obviously, but I don't know. There's so many good seasons and so many bad seasons. I could rank them, make it a list, but I would feel like I just couldn't sit down and do that. I'd have a hard time. Well, this season had one more good episode than that season, but, it had this too. I couldn't do it. I just know season 2 is my all-time favorite season and always has been. And my least favorite season is 12. And we all know why 12 was such a weak season. That whole Minnow Letter storyline, like, fucking hell. You just got done fighting the darkness and Lucifer and almost close the gates of hell to go to having trouble with a bunch of Brits? Really? That was your issue? Man. I would also say season 8 was kind of a slow season for me. 9 was kind of a slow season for me. I don't know. A lot of the later seasons weren't as good, obviously, as those first 5. 6 was a good one. I think 6 was actually a really good one. I don't know. You just sit there and you're like, oh, damn, oh, yeah, that season's really good too, right? I guess it's really just, I don't know, it could go however you're wanting, I guess. I would love to hear you guys in the comments tell me what your favorite seasons are. I'd love to hear your thoughts, oh, my favorite season was, my least favorite season was, and tell me why. I'd love to read that stuff. And that's the whole reason I loved this show, is just the interaction with people. Oh, you like Supernatural? What? And as silly as this is, and this does not apply to Susie, because she's awesome, even if she's not a huge fan of the show. But I used to almost make it like a prerequisite that people had to like the show before I date them. And that's stupid. That's really stupid. But I just wanted to have something I could share with people. And no, I don't have to share the show with Susie for me and Susie to love each other the way that we do. So she's awesome with or without liking the show. But she has talked to me about watching it with me. But we have so many shows we're trying to get through to watch, like Criminal Minds and Naruto because of my kids. Like, there's a lot that we're still trying to Oh, wait. Excuse me. That yawn was coming. But there's so many shows we're still trying to get through. I've also been asked before, what was your all-time favorite episode? You know how hard that is to answer? What was your all-time favorite episode? I wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, list all these episodes from these certain seasons and just throw a dart. Like, I mean, I guess you could say Swan Song was definitely one of my favorite episodes. All Hell Breaks Loose 1 and 2 are really awesome episodes. There's too many. There's just too many. Lazarus Rising, I like that episode a lot. Lucifer Rising, I liked that episode a lot. There's just too many. And it'd be the same. I couldn't tell you what my least favorite episode was. I mean, there are episodes I don't like, but I don't hate any of the if I actually sat here long enough and thought about it, I guarantee you I could find at least one episode I hated and just would never watch again. Bugs would be the one. That episode, such logic gap. I can tell you the saddest episode, Heart from season 2. That is such a sad episode. But that, that's whatever. I'm not going to cry. I'm not crying. You're crying. I don't know. This show, though, it's just all these great seasons, all these great characters, from Garth to Bobby to Rowena to Meg to, God, Ellen and Joe and Rufus and Crowley, as I see him popping up on the screen. There's just so many great side characters that have popped up in and out of this show. Even Gabriel, it ended up being one of the better characters. And then you get a Castiel, who has become just as important as the boys. And I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I did enjoy Mary being on the show. And while, yes, she took off on the boys when she first came back, they're grown adults. She didn't have to sit and babysit them. And that character gets so much hate online. It's ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Back off. It's their mom. And I know, and there's a lot of people who still have issues with Jack. Why the hate on Jack? What'd Jack do to any of you, man? Yes, Jack, I actually watched Jeremy Hannaford on YouTube, and he said it best. Jack was the Antichrist, the kid from season 5. Dab's interpretation, but still not to say that Jack wasn't important. I like Jack as a character. I think they dropped the ball with Jack in season 15. I, for the life of me, can't figure out why it took them till the mid-season to freaking bring him back. But I guess whatever. There's just so many influential characters. There's characters that, had small parts to play. You could talk about Lisa, who, for the life of me, I wished I had seen, because she meant so much to Dean, right? But literally the end of the world is coming, and Dean doesn't do nothing to try to warn her. What? I guess she was a first 6 season character arc. We made sure we got rid of her as fast as we could, right? Yeah. I'd also like to hear who's your guys' favorite character and who was your guys' least favorite character. Zachariah definitely comes to mind as my least favorite character. That mother fudger. I wouldn't piss on him to put him out if he was on fire. God, I hated that character. Or Azrael. Fuck him too. There's a lot of stupid characters. So many dumb characters. But, I just thought of, there's so many characters. No, I didn't like Ruby her second season. I know that was Sam's wife. That was Jared's wife playing the character. Doesn't mean I give her a pass. You know what? Speaking of that, worst cameo of the season was Ruby. I just thought about that, thinking about it. That was the absolute worst cameo of the entire season. Didn't make sense in where it fell in line with Danielle being on there as well, playing the angel. Fuck, I don't remember her name. I can't think of it. Nor do I honestly care, if I'm being real. That was just the worst. To put them all together, why? For what? What was the point in that? There was no point. It was just, we want them on this season, so we'll make up some convoluted fucking storyline just so we can get some stupid thing for Jack to get. And then they never followed up with it. She made this saying about, I'm going to tell you this information, but you got to do something for me. What was that something? I don't know. That was the other problem with the way the show ended. There was a lot of undone stories, a lot of loose ends that never got tied. Nothing was ever made mention of. I don't know. I'm not going to hate on the show because this is all about me remembering the show. But there's so much I could talk about. I'm just thankful for the show. Honestly, I'm just thankful for this show. I'm glad that this show has happened. I honestly am still in disbelief that this show is ending. Sure, I could sit here and I could say, they could really probably run the show for another 3-4 seasons, and I'm sure they could. They could have. But I don't think I'd want it to. I don't think I'd want it to go for another 3 or 4 seasons. Oh, it's way too early to be yawning. Man, this show, it needed to end, and I think this was a merciful end. It still had a lot of fan interest. I think it was good. Stop it here. We'll be done with it. That'll be that. Yay. Finished. No issues. I am still going to be sad that it's over. I know a lot of people still trying to, we could bring it back this way. They're going to do a movie, or the show's going to come back, or that. I talked about the fandom being really awesome, but at the same time, this fandom can be really annoying and sometimes toxic. If I've seen so many threads, especially with the whole Destiel thing. Oh my goodness. When Cass told him, that he loved him. Yes, you could take that if you wanted to and say that he was confessing his love for Dean, but that didn't confirm nor deny that Destiel was a thing. It just didn't. But if you want to believe that's what it was and that's what you want to do, you want to ship that, by all means, ship it. I choose not to. It's just not my opinion. And I saw so many people on Facebook and stuff saying, if you don't believe that that's what that meant, oh my gosh, you're so homophobic. Why are they homophobic for saying Destiel ain't real? I'm sure that there are very homophobic individuals out there who are against it because they are homophobic. But not everyone who believes Destiel should be a thing is homophobic. I am one of those who do believe Dean is possibly bisexual. It's never outright addressed, but I think there's a chance that he just might be. But I'm not here to talk about that or comment on that because, it's just not what I'm doing. So, But, excuse me, I can't breathe. I just swallowed the water the wrong way. But sometimes they can be really, really toxic and just sometimes downright annoying. Like, the show is ending and people are already talking about, how do we bring the show back? What can they do to bring... Because, Jensen made a comment about, maybe in some sort of time, we can bring the show back for a limited run. He said a limited run in 3 or 4 years, and people are talking about, oh, they're going to bring it back now. Like, there's so many people who are like, oh, they're going to do this season. Oh, they're going to add more episodes. Oh, they shouldn't end the show. Like, let the show end. I don't need it to come back, especially with the way it ended. How? Well, we could have a prequel series with John. No one's going to watch that because people didn't want to watch the show to see John. People wanted to watch the show so they could see Sam and Dean. So that just wouldn't work. Now, I would have been all for a Wayward Sisters show. Would have been down for that. But that's just not what they want to do. And that's cool. There was that episode in season 9. I think it was season 9. Season 9 or season 8, where they were going to have the spinoff with the gangsters in Chicago. I guess I would have been okay with that, but I honestly wasn't that excited for it. Not really. And then there's people, oh, well, we could do a Castiel and a Jack spinoff. Of what? Them floating in space as energy? You have Jack, who's God. What would he do? That would completely defeat the purpose of him saying, I'm not going to be involved. So no, you can't do that. Wayward Sisters would have been their best opportunity for a spinoff. I just don't see them ever doing it again. And I know a lot of people want that, and part of me kind of wants that too, but I'm just accepting the fact that these guys aren't coming back. They're going to go on. Jared's going to do Walker. Jensen's going to do The Boys and then do something else, I'm sure. These guys are going to be successful outside of this. They may not be, A-list actors in, Hollywood, but they're going to do their own things. They're going to make their own money. They're going to enjoy their families, and they deserve to. They just deserve to. After all the seasons that they put in on this show, at the very least, they deserve to just enjoy it. To just enjoy their lives, man. It's what they honestly enjoy, or should be able to enjoy. There were so many good moments, though, throughout this show. So many awesome characters. I mean, this show was, to me, one of the best and most successful shows ever. And I loved it. I just loved the show. I really, truly did. I don't know. I don't want to get sappy. I don't want to cry again. These guys hit the 100 episode milestone. That was cool. They hit a 200 episode milestone. That was a pretty good episode. That was the musical episode, which is actually one of my favorite episodes. And then they hit 300, where you finally got John Winchester. You got the whole Winchester family together for an episode. Even if it wasn't really John. I mean, it was John. But kind of not. I don't know, it's weird how to explain it. John from 03. I think it just would have been nice if they just brought John back from the dead for that one episode, but that was a good episode. God, so many awesome episodes. So I could go on about how good the show was. And I'm sure by now you're like, come on, man. Do you have a point yet? Do you have a point? Yes. I always have a point. The point is this show rocks. That's my point. And in the words of Charlie, I'm out, bitches. There was another great character. So yeah, I've been going on for half an hour here. There's not much more I can add to really make this show sound great. Just, I love the show. I love this show. I'm going to miss this show. Whether it was good or bad or somewhere in the middle, whatever you thought, at whatever points, I found this show to be my saving grace at points. And I'm going to be sad that come next fall, I'm not going to have that. I am going to watch The Boys Season 3. I am going to watch Walker because I want to continue to see what these guys do. And I'm going to support them in that stuff. So, I really, really would love to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments. How did the show affect you? What did you love about this show? Tell me down in the comments. I want to hear your guys' stories. So, favorite characters, etc. Tell me all that stuff. But I'm Zach, man, and I'm getting out of here. Remember, stay healthy, stay safe, and above all else, motherfuckers, join the nation. Bitches, I'm out. Don't forget the pie!